Okay, good morning. Again, welcome to the today's session in the Azure community. So today's session is special as we have a community partner who is their community event, and we are hosting their event on our community, and we have a partnership for this event. So the community that we have is community leader. We have Hanusri, who is the community leader of Microsoft Azure Malaysia, and she is a data scientist at Accenture, and she is leading the community. And she is gonna talk about bit about herself and the community in a bit. And we have the topic for today's session, which is introduction to Azure fundamentals. So for the for the topic, we have Rachel Sheikh who is joining, and she's gonna take us to the fundamentals, first three modules which we can cover in the 1 hour. She is also an application engineer at Vertex. So she's gonna be doing that in a bit, and we're gonna go through a bit about their community and things, and they're gonna also share their community link where you can join the Malaysia community. And yeah, and I just wanted to put the general information that the session is recorded. You do not need to record it on your side. We'll provide it in our community through our YouTube channel, and there is certificate of participation at the end of it. So make sure you climb it and stay throughout the session. That is from the side, my side, and over to Hanusri and Rachel.
All right. Thanks, Rag. All right. Hi, everyone. So I'll just give a little introduction about myself as a person. So I'm working as a data scientist in Accenture, but mainly I work on organizational analytics. So I work with IO psychology and behavioral sciences to provide in-depth research on inside out and outside in assessments for organizations to analyze their digital transformation journey. So that's mainly under a change management of strategy and consulting. So beyond that, my focus is mainly on NLP. So that's why I leverage Azure. And for an overall overview of this community, we are aiming to build a community that would actually help us foster innovation, learning, and collaboration. So it's not just an event that's going to be focused online. It's going to be more of an in-person event as we move forward in 2025. To just kickstart this journey, we are doing it online, and we have Rachel on board, so she'll be sharing on the Azure fundamentals. And feel free to ask any questions at the end of the session to her. And yeah, if you are really interested to be part of this community and join the in-person events or get information on what exactly those events will be about, you can take up the link will be shared later, so you can just scan the QR code and join the community. It's in WhatsApp or even in LinkedIn, so you can use those links to get in. And mainly, it's going to be focused on Azure, right? So we're going to have topics circulating within Microsoft Azure, what we can do within that. So we are starting it off with fundamentals, and eventually we'll pick up more detailed titles, more detailed topics for us to venture into. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a full-fledged event, and we're focusing on in-person. So if you're based in Malaysia, it'll be better because it'll be convenient for you to travel to the place for the events. But it's not really restricted just to Malaysian community. If you're interested to pick this up, and if we are doing online sessions, you can also join them eventually. So that's the high level of what exactly we are doing. It's more of providing the learning courses or learning space for you to enhance your expertise, or open up your horizon on venturing into Microsoft Azure. So we will encourage collaboration. We want to bring together tech enthusiasts to share about the knowledge and experience and solutions they have done in Microsoft Azure. So that's the aim of this community. I'll pass on to Rachel for her to begin the session.
Yeah,
Rachel, over
hi.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Anushree, and thanks, Suraj. Can I share my screen? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's up.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Rachel, and today I'm going to introduce you what is the fundamental of Azure. So before we kickstart what is the session, maybe like I would like all the participants to let me know whether have you heard of Azure before. If it's a yes, maybe you put a 1. If it's a no, then you put a 2 in the chat box. Okay, there's coming a lot of 1 here. Okay, which is good. Okay, thanks for responding. So before I go deeper into the session, let me introduce myself. I'm Rachel, and I'm an application engineer working in Vertiv, Malaysia. So I have 5 certificates from Microsoft, such as Azure Fundamentals, Azure AI Fundamentals, Microsoft Certified Educators, the Excel 2019 Associate, and also AI Associate. Other than that, I'm also active in Microsoft communities such as Meet Ambassador as well as Learn Student Ambassador. So next. And for today, I'm going to focus on 3 main things. What is cloud computing? What is the benefits of it? And what are the service types? So have any one of you heard of cloud computing, or are you familiarized with that? If it's a yes, maybe put a 1. If it's a no, put a 2. So if you are familiar with cloud computing, you can put a 1. Okay. Okay, good, good, good. Keep the response coming. So if you're familiar with cloud computing, can you describe one word, one phrase for cloud computing? Like, what is cloud computing to you in just one single word? Networks. Okay, good. Adaptability. Okay, those are the keywords. Pay as you go. Great. Okay, so now let's go into what is cloud computing. Virtualization, that's right, Riyadh. So cloud computing, basically, it's something you can run over the internet. Just like usually what we do traditionally, we have our laptop and all the hardware components like the RAM, ROM, all are inside our laptop. But for cloud computing itself, it's everything renting over the internet, over the network. So in terms of this, it is focusing on compute, networking, and storage. All of these are in virtualization, which means you don't need to buy a physical hardware to configure it. So for cloud computing itself is just renting everything in over the internet. So let's go and have a look for the video itself. Okay. Is my screen visible? If yes, give a thumbs up. And any audio you can listen. Okay, let me try to play it. So now we are looking at what is cloud computing that is described in a much more simpler terms for those who are not familiar and for those who are not in technical background.
What is cloud computing? Just like when you shop for your own computer, cloud computing lets you choose the power and features you need to run your software. The difference is, with cloud computing, the PC is in a cloud provider's data center instead of this lets you pay for only the services you use. Plus, someone else gets to manage the upkeep of the computer. Each cloud provider will have their own selection of services to choose from, but the basic services provided by all cloud providers are compute power and storage. Compute power is how much processing your computer can do. For example, when buying a home computer, you may choose a computer with 8 gigabytes of RAM and the latest processor to run the software you need today. But as the load on the computer grows, you find that it slows down. With cloud computing, you can add and remove compute power as you need it. This saves on costs, since you only pay for the resources you use. Storage is the volume of data you can store on your computer. A traditional computer has limited hard drive space. Over time, you may have to run out and buy another hard drive to store more data. With cloud computing, you can request more storage as you need it. Cloud providers manage the upkeep of the computer, so you don't have to. They will make sure that there are backups, that the operating system is up to date, as well as making sure that everything is up and running 24 hours a day. So as your business grows and your computing needs change, you can quickly bring on new computing resources in a cost-effective way.
Okay. So what is the keyword of cloud computing? After watching the video, can someone give what do you get from the video? Okay, renting services. Okay, well, so after we know what is cloud computing, let me introduce you what are the types of cloud computing we have. The first will be a private cloud, where usually you can see from the illustration here that only the organization is responsible for the service they are operating, which means there are no third parties that are going to access the data and the service as well. So this is what it means by private cloud. And next, it will be a public cloud. So I believe that public cloud is what usually the user is using, because public cloud itself is all of it is owned by cloud services or hosting provider. So Microsoft Azure itself is consider a public cloud if the user is choosing it and let the Microsoft to manage it. So the public cloud can be accessed via internet, which means that the differences between private cloud and public cloud itself is public cloud can be openly accessed by multiple organization and user, while for private cloud itself is only specific to the organization. So some of you may wonder, can it be a combination of public cloud and private cloud? Do you think it's a yes or a no? If a yes, maybe you think it can combine, you can put a yes. If it's a no, then you put a no in the chat box. Let me know what are your thoughts about this. Okay, so if it's a yes, what is the name of the combination of public cloud and private cloud? Anyone know about this? The combination, the term of public cloud and private cloud. Okay, good. That's hybrid cloud. All of you are right, which means it combines the benefits of using public cloud and private clouds to allow the applications to run in the most appropriate locations. Because the benefits of using hybrid cloud is when sometimes you may want the public cloud, which is the service provider, to provide you some features of the public cloud, then you can choose public cloud. But sometimes, based on the scenario, you may want to have your private access of your organization. So that is where hybrid cloud combines together to make it more appropriate and based on the usage and the scenario of the applications. Okay. So these are the mainly three cloud model comparison. For hybrid itself is the most flexibility because it combines public cloud and private cloud. While for public cloud itself is just pay only for what they use. But the benefits of using the private cloud is that you can have complete control over the resources. Then the key word for public cloud is pay only for what you use. Private cloud is you have complete control over everything, including resources and all the hardware. And for hybrid cloud, the keyword is flexibility. So the cloud model, what you choose is based on what scenario or based on the things that you want to optimize it. But for this, everything involve a cost, right? So have anyone heard of capex and opex? Yes, put a one, no, put a two, or you don't know, you can put a three in the chat box. Have you heard of it? Two. No. Okay, three. Yeah, you're not sure about it. So for capex itself, we are talking more about capital, which means that let's say we want to buy physical infrastructure like the computer or the hard drive. All of this we require money to buy on hardware, laptop, all those. So that is consider your capital. How much money you need to in involved before everything starts. So this is the upfront money you need to spend on the physical infrastructure to build up for your cloud model. Let's say you want to have your own private cloud, then you will need to maintain and also purchase your hard drive, your server, all those are considered capital expenditure. But when we choose for private cloud, for not private cloud, for public cloud, then everything is pay as you go, which means that you don't need to buy any physical infrastructure, only you can start to use. So that is the difference of capital expenditure and operational expenditure. So when remember that when you choose for private cloud, then you will need to spend upfront money on your physical infrastructure. But for operational expenditure, is more on you are using uh, public cloud, which means you pay as you go, and you can clearly see that what are the resources you are using, and that's the key difference between it. Okay, next it will be so as previously when we first started, some of you say that cloud service is a pay as you go, is is pay for what you are trying to use, what are you using. So cloud service providers, they operate based on a consumption based model, which means that you only pay for what you use, and each of the prices of the resources and the services are provided very clearly, which means that you can have a plan of, let's say that this month you want to use, for example, you want to use resources A, B, C. So each of it has already listed the price in Azure portal. So from here, you can clearly have for this month, what is your expenses to be used for this cloud service, which is good because you don't need to have any unnecessary, pop out suddenly there's a cost for the hardware or there's a downtime for the hardware. So next, it will be the benefits of it. So do you know what are the benefits for cloud after like the session just now? What do you think? You can say anything that you think is relevant to cloud benefits. There's no right or wrong. You can put it in the chat box. More efficient, okay, that's right. Other than that, stronger reception, cost efficient, okay, okay, better resource management, that's right. So let me put in a way of, let's imagine the cloud service is like a toy store. You can see from the illustration, we have a toy store here. So how does it relate to all the benefits listed in this slide, which is high availability. So let's say that high availability in layman terms, let me put it in a way that which means that high availability is the toy store is always open, which means that no matter what happens, the store is always open 24/7. So how does it relate with cloud service itself? Because the higher the availability, which means that for your cloud service, then the better it is for any uh, it is better to reduce the downtime. So this is what it means by high availability. So it relates with the toy store, which means that it is always open no matter what happens. And how about scalability? Scalability, in terms of scalability, which means that the shelf in the toy store is able to grow or shrink based on how many toys we have. And this is what, when we are talking about cloud service, let's say that you want to have resource A, resource B going on. And for cloud service, it is able to either you increase the resources or reduce the resources. While for predictability, like just now what I mentioned about the cost of, you can able to predict how many resources you want to use. So it is same goes to how many toys you as the toy store owner, you can predict how many toys you sell each day, which means that in cloud itself, you can know what are the resources you are having and what are the costs you are going to have. And for this 1 month, what are the costs that you are going to know, break down what are the details of it. Well, in the chat box, I saw that some of you say that, you know, efficient, better cost, and also the high security, which means actually this is also related with governance. So anyone know what is governance? Any thoughts on that? If yes, you can put in the chat box for what do you know about governance. Okay, I think some of you may be thinking, what is governance? Okay, managing. Okay, so managing, you're not wrong. Control. Okay, keep going. Okay, so security. So governance, layman terms is oversight. Okay, so governance is you have your toy store. Then what are the rules you want to implement for people to play with your toys? Which means it is in one word, it's called control and how you want to manage it. Okay, so that is the term of governance. It's all about rules of how you want to use with your resources and who can access the resources. Okay, risk management. Okay, that's right. Okay, then elasticity. So elasticity is somehow related with scalability. So elasticity, why I say that elasticity is related with scalability, because just as I mentioned just now, scalability is grow or shrink based on how many resources you have and based on the consumption, based on the scenario. So for elasticity, the keyword, the key difference compared to scalability is the automatically expansion or contract based on demand. So the difference between scalability and elasticity is automatically it is able to grow or shrink based on the demand, while scalability is a term to use for growing or shrinking based on the demand. So that is the difference between scalability and elasticity. While for reliability, that some of you also mentioned that, it is more efficient. That's right, because reliability you know, is always showing up, which means that you will never let you down no matter what, and it is able to provide you to work well. So for cloud, it can do so because it is always talking about high availability, scalability, and this it links back to reliability. Because when you don't use cloud, when we're using our own physical server or physical laptop, sometimes we may encounter some problem like some issues of updates or some bugs. But for cloud itself, you can always rely on it because it can automatically expand or contract based on the resources or based on the scenario that you want. And next, it will be security. So why is it cloud service is really having this security features is because they have their own secure thing to actually protect from being hacked. That let's say there's one side down, then there's another thing to actually support your data in the cloud. And the last one will be manageability. So you put it in a way that manageability is like a remote control that is easily organized and manage all your toys in the toy store from anywhere. So how does it relate with the cloud is that because by logging into your own Azure portal, you can control, monitor, and you for all the services that you are having for Microsoft Azure. So this is very easy to manage by just, you just type on the link of the Azure portal, then from one single page, you can clearly see that what are the resources you're having and what are the cloud data you're having and what are the storage you are currently consuming. So these are all the benefits of cloud. Okay, then next, it will be the types of cloud service. But before I go deeper into cloud service types, I want to ask all of you, so how many benefits of the cloud we have based on just now the toy store, the illustration that you had looked into? How many of it? Anyone can list down all of the 8 ones? You can feel free to type in the chat box. Okay, the SaaS related with cloud service type, you are not wrong. PaaS, okay. Infrastructure as a service. Then what is PaaS, PaaS? What is the term for what does PaaS and SaaS stands for? Okay, that might keep it. Okay, platform as a service, that's right. So the responses given are right. So we have three main cloud service type, which is infrastructure as a service, which is IaaS. So infrastructure as a service means that you just pay for renting server, virtual machine, storage, networks, and operating system. So you can see from the icons for infrastructure as a service in cloud service type is you just pay for these three main things for data center, for networking firewalls, for servers. And next we are going to platform as a service. Okay, is platform as a service is environment to actually build, test, and deploy software applications. So the differences between IaaS and PaaS is PaaS is more focusing on testing for the software application, is an environment for you to actually look into what you want to build or how you want to test your software applications. Okay, the next one, it will be software as a service. So these are three main cloud service type that the main purpose of the main cloud service type that you can look into. Software as a service. So software as a service, most of it is using because this is a cloud-based apps over the internet. So can anyone give me an example of software as a service? Feel free to type in the chat box. What is the example of SaaS? Okay, Office 365, Microsoft Office, that's right. What else? What else do we have other than Microsoft Office 365? Salesforce. Okay, okay, keep going. Salesforce. AWS. Okay. Dropbox. Okay. Adobe. Right, right. Okay, so how about what is the example for platform as a service? Anyone know what is the example of platform as a service? Microsoft Azure App, Google App Engine. Yes. So you just need to know that platform as a service is basically for you in one portal, you can manage everything into deploying, into testing it. So yes, you are right. Microsoft Azure portal. That's right. Okay. So this is the comparison of cloud service. In terms of infrastructure as a service, it is the most flexible. Why? Because you can configure and manage your hardware. But for PaaS and SaaS, it's a bit different. Is that PaaS is focusing on application development. Like for example, some of you say that AWS portal, Microsoft Azure portal. So in this one single platform, you can manage all of your thing in one single platform. So infrastructure as a service is you can configure and manage your hardware for your application and it's the most flexible one. While for platform as a service is used for application development and the management of the platform is managed by cloud provider like Microsoft, Google, or Amazon. Well, for software as a service, the most people or all of us is using, which is pay as you go pricing model. Like we have different tier for different subscription. We have just like Netflix or just like the Microsoft Office 365, like for premium user, for basic user, all of it. So I believe all of you are quite clear about the differences between IaaS, PaaS, and also SaaS. Okay, so you can see from this table that this is the shared responsibility model. So from this, there is SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and on-prem. So any one of you know what is on-prem means? Feel free to put in the chat box. So what does it mean by on-prem? Physical machines. Yes, physical machines, in-house server. Okay, physical machines, in-house server, all are inside the on-prem. On-prem means on-premise, which means, yes, you need to have a location. Like let's say you need to have an office to store, to put all your physical network, your physical laptop, physical infrastructure into this one on-prem. So you can see that let's start from on-prem. On-prem, the dark blue one is customer need to manage everything from information and data to physical data center. So for your on-prem, your cost, which means your capital expenditure, your capex is very high because initially you need to buy all the physical infrastructure, you need to set up everything, you need to manage everything. That's why all of this is the responsibility of a customer. So this is also we can relate it with private cloud because private cloud itself, you need to manage your data, manage your server, manage your everything by yourself. Well, what is the difference between infrastructure as a service? So infrastructure as a service for cloud service provider that provide IaaS is that they provide you physical host, physical network, and physical data center, which means for you as a user, you will only need to manage your data, your device, your account, your network control, your application, and your OS. So the physical part of like host, network, and data center, all these three main things are managed by the cloud service provider. So this is known as infrastructure as a service, mainly focusing on infrastructure. While for platform as a service itself, it's more like a half user, half customer responsibility and half cloud service provider responsibility. So you can see that what are the shared responsibility is basically the identity and directory infrastructure, the applications, the network controls. All these three main things is shared by customer and Microsoft. Let's say we put Microsoft Azure portal as an example. So the uh, this is the example of past. So from Microsoft Azure portal, you can manage your applications, but at the same time, Microsoft is also helping you to manage your applications. So that is the meaning of PaaS. Okay. For SaaS itself, most of the responsibility is managed by cloud provider from applications to identity to network controls to OS. But for devices, accounts, and information is managed by customer. So that is the key difference and the responsibility model of these four main aspect of the service type. Okay, next. So this is the summary of what I have shared to you, the share responsibility model, the public, private, and hybrid cloud, the benefits of cloud computing, and the cloud service type. So maybe some of you can put in the chat box of what are the three cloud service types. Feel free to put in the chat box. That is the first review that I hope all of you get it, the three main cloud service types. What are the three main cloud service types? Okay, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Okay. So what are the key differences between infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service? What are the what are the differences for these three things? So maybe I can give you a hint for it. Software as a service is usually pay as you go. But for how about infrastructure as a service? Is it pay as you go or is the most flexible service type that you can choose for infrastructure as a service? Okay, that's right. Infrastructure as a service is the most flexible. How about platform as a service? What is the key features of platform as a service? Share responsibility. Yes, you don't need to manage so many things as compared to infrastructure as a service, where you need to manage your physical servers, physical data centers. Okay, so yes, for platform as a service is for building, testing, and more to applications development. Okay, thanks for the response. So next, it will be more in the resources of let me share with you if you are interested in becoming Microsoft certified, let me share my screen again. So is anyone like interested to become Microsoft certified? Yes, you can raise up your hand or put a one in the chat box. Okay, there's one here. So what are you interested in? Like what are the topics that are usually you want to get certified in Microsoft? Okay, all of you want to get certified. That's good to hear. So basically, let me introduce you some of the, coming certified, Microsoft certified. Okay, so for AZ900, which is the introduction to, Microsoft Azure Fundamental, we have basically like a few tier. The most important one is you need to have a fundamental, which is currently I'm sharing the session for this Azure fundamental, AZ900. So for AZ900 is the most basic for the cloud, for you to understand the basic of cloud computing and how does it work for cloud computing, and of course some of the more in details of Azure technologies. So for fundamentals, other than AZ900, we have AI900, we have data fundamental, which is DP900, and also if you are not very keen in cloud computing or AI, you can also go into business applications like dynamics, power platform, and also security as well, and modern work. So this fundamental is important because if you want to go to role base, you will need to have a prerequisite knowledge from fundamental. Then you can proceed to this, like let's say Azure Administrator Associate, AZ104. And this is the maps on how you can become Microsoft certified. And also that for AZ900, have all of you access the Microsoft Learn? Yes. Have you tried to access Learn in Microsoft Learn itself? Okay, one is a yes. Yes. That's good. That's good. Okay. So let me share my Okay, so one of the resources that I recommend you to study or to get certified in Microsoft Azure Fundamental is to actually look into Microsoft Learn itself. Why? Because it is having the most updated, what are the syllabus or what are the things they are going to trying to test you, and all of these are important. And just to share with you, actually, it's okay if you does not pass for the first time, because more you have you have more than one chance to actually try to pass it again. For me itself, I didn't pass for the first time, so it took me like I think 2 times or 3 times to actually pass AZ900. Why? Is because that for the first time I'm not very familiar with AZ900, and my lessons key takeaway will be that be familiarized with the Azure portal and try to deploy your own service. Use as much as possible for this Azure portal. And for the Microsoft Learn, they do have the sandbox. They let you to try and deploy. So this is very useful for you to get familiarized, and also to let you know what are the things inside Azure. And you can see that from here, there are some percentage of this described cloud concepts, which stands for around, occupies around 30%, which is quite huge, you know. And this is the basic of cloud computing. So as long as you have these cloud concepts basics with you, right, then you will know how to differentiate, like what are the types of cloud models, what are the benefits of it. All these are useful because with this knowledge, it is also applicable not only to Azure itself, but also to Google Cloud, to AWS. So remember that you need to be clear about the cloud concepts here so that you can really know what are the Azure architecture and services, which all of this, it will be much more easier for you to understand when you know the cloud concepts basics. So this is also one part that you can play around in Microsoft Learn. They have the sandbox for you to try and test to host a website, which they provide a very clear instruction for you to try with very clear steps. So all of this like security access, and for this also Azure management and governance, like what I told you in the benefits of cloud is manageability and governance, which means like how you want to control or what are the rules you want to implement for your Azure, for your Azure cloud, all of this monitoring tools. So this is all the important things that you know you can look into, and from here you can have your own uh, what to expect for your Microsoft exam. I think all of this is quite important to prep yourself from this. And this is the session that we are currently having is also good for you to actually strengthen your understanding of cloud cloud computing basic, the benefits of it. So thanks to Siva and thanks to Hanushree for organizing this. Then I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass over to you, Hanushree.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rachel, for this informative session. If any of y'all have any questions, you can put it in the chat, and Rachel, you can address them over in the chat. So I think this session has been really informative and insightful. And also, Rachel, yeah, thank you so much for sharing with them on how to be Microsoft certified. I think at the end of the day, they are all aiming to also get that certification done. So to address that as well, guys, I think these sessions that we're going to have will be helpful to direct you all towards that direction as well. And if any of you all would like to join or know more and explore similar events, please join the community through the links that Surak shared, and also follow us in LinkedIn, in WhatsApp. We have the community in WhatsApp group, so you can join there. And we have it in LinkedIn as well, so you can request to join the group and I'll approve it accordingly. You can also follow me in LinkedIn to stay updated with the events that's coming. We are aiming to have an in-person event next month, actually. So do stay tuned to, and if the topic resonates with you all, you can feel free to also join them in person. We would like to meet each and every enthusiastic person here who is very keen on joining this community and also take part in these events. I think overall that is all from me. I'd like to wish everyone a very very good New Year and happy holidays. So I think I can pass it over to Surak now. Yes.
Hey, hey, thank you, NSC. And thank you, Rachel, for the wonderful session. I think we went over all the fundamentals, and I hope you guys were able to understand it. I hope you guys will be using it and take the action towards learning it. Yeah, that's it for the day. I have shared all the links to join our community and also Anusri's Malaysia community and the WhatsApp and LinkedIn group to be joining. Okay, and there is also a certificate link where we will share it to your email. Just keep an eye on it. It will be sent after 10 minutes to your email. And you can fill it out the form to get your certificate. Okay. And thank you again for joining us on a Sunday. And I hope you guys have a great Sunday and Happy New Year. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Surak.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.